Yeah, not exactly level. Oh well. Electric razors can't really do all that great. Welcome everybody to Saturday. Yeah, Saturday's little update, quick update about the bike. Eh, why I say communication is definitely, most definitely key when it comes to a dealership working on a bike. I mean, yeah. Okay, it's working. Good. I'm gonna have an echo for a second, but yeah, sorry. But anyways, back to this subject at hand. But reason why I say communication for a dealership when dealing with customers is key is, hey, how's it going, Motorbone? Oh yeah, that work last. I've been this tonight will be day 4 of work. I still got Sunday and Monday to go through. Then I got VA appointments on Tuesday. Yay! But I made the short, as everybody know, last Wednesday talking about the concerns of how the dealerships wanting to just do just a little bit of work and then unknown how far down they've taken it. The service manager evidently didn't really tell me the full extent of what's going on. I don't know why he didn't or why he hasn't, but the general manager, when I called and talked to him Friday, or not Friday, Thursday, actually, um, while I was at work, me and him started a discussion, and I sat there and told him, I go, first and foremost, one, I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble because I don't know exactly what's going on. I go, but the bike is part of my VA therapy for my anxiety and depression. But at the same time, though, as anybody with anxiety would know that rides a bike, if you're unable to ride a bike, it's having issues. It kind of sort of throws your anxiety all over the place. And not knowing exactly what's going on kind of sort of adds to it. So, that said, me and him's talked, and he asked, and I sat there and told him, I go, so far I know it's going to be the camshaft, the rollers, the lifters, and the oil pump. Not sure about the cam plate or anything else in the bottom of the motor. And he sat there and told me, he goes, so he hasn't told you what all's being done. I was like, no. I go, as far as I know, that's all that's being replaced. And I go, to me, knowing what I know working on a car, once you get metal in the oil, it pretty much goes all up throughout the entire car. And then you get the pistons to worry about, the scoring of the rings, scoring of the piston walls, the whole 9 yards. Especially once you got chunks of metal at the bottom of the motor. And he's like, yeah. He goes, so you somewhat understand what's going on. I was like, yeah. I go, and that's the reason why I'm kind of sort of nervous that the service manager told me he wants to wait till the day before I'm supposed to get up there to actually reassemble or put everything back in the bike and fix it and blah blah blah. Even though it's just a few parts. And I go, and I'm really worried about if there's anything else wrong that he's gonna miss trying to rush the job, and I end up start riding 1,000 miles back to the house with it, and end up getting stuck in Missouri or Illinois somewhere, or just out in the middle of nowhere where there isn't nobody that I know around. And he's like, that's a valid concern considering he's not really said much to you. He goes, has he told? I go, he goes, so he hasn't told you that we've took the motor completely down apart, right? I was like, no. He goes, yeah. He goes, we're replacing pretty much everything inside except for the pistons. He goes, but I'm going to have him double check and look at the pistons and make sure there ain't no scarring. And if there is any scarring, we're going to go ahead and get those ordered and get those replaced. It's like, okay, thanks. But I sat there and told him about the compensator issue that originally got that motor that's in the bike now in the bike. Because the first motor that was in it it was so bad that it actually disintegrated. Compensator disintegrated, long story short, and all the metal from the compensator got throughout the entire motor. Warranty, it's like and the dealership's like, look, it needs a new motor, and warranty agreed. So I ended up getting a new motor at $19K. This is that new motor. So you can imagine where my train of thought was when all this started happening, that, oh, great, the compensator's gone, needing a new motor. This is going to suck. At the same time, be good because 80,000 miles just about with a brand new motor. Yay. But short terms, they're completely rebuilding the motor at 80K. Is basically what I'm getting from, or at least that's what what the general manager sat there and told me. And he apologized that they didn't tell everything that was going on, but he also agreed, though, that they shouldn't be waiting for the day before I show up to get all the work completed, because just in case something else is wrong that they don't know about, that once they do the work, it shows up. So he's actually in agreement with me about the whole it's not a good idea of them waiting day before I get there and then not closing out, and for them to hold off on closing out the warranty work until I actually pick the bike up, which gives me time to be able to make sure I got a car through the warranty to get up there to get it. But so that's where the title come from as far as communications, because I've actually been a little bit more calmer now, knowing what all's being done and they're actually looking at everything. Because even though they hadn't really said anything, kind of sort of in the back of my mind was triggering the anxiety and everything else, going, what all are they doing? Hey, how's it going, Salty? And never being told, yeah, we took the motor all the way apart and we're replacing this, 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 and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Which, had they sat there and told me that they're replacing the cam plate, they're replacing the flywheels, that would have told me instantly that they actually took the motor completely apart and looked throughout it. Because my concern was, if the motor was that bad, metal got in, hopefully they looked at the compensator in that side of the motor just to make sure there's nothing going on there. So, because that's been my original big major issue that happened with the motor last time, was the compensator disintegrated. So that's kind of sort of been on my mind this whole time. And I wasn't sure that they even bothered to take the time to look. Now that I know that they have, okay, cool. Hopefully the work's done in time. As I explained to the general manager, I've got to make sure the work's done by the time I get there on the 20th. And the bike will be ridden 1,073 miles that following day, because I'm picking the bike up. I'm going to probably ride it around town a little bit, make sure I feel comfortable, that the bike feels comfortable enough for me, and I've got enough faith in the motor that, okay, there's nothing wrong. I don't hear nothing wrong. We're good to go. I feel good enough that the motor's good enough to make it back down here from Tennessee from South Dakota. So there's going to be a little bit of riding going on that day that I pick it up. And then that following morning, getting up bright and early, 17 hours and 15 minutes from Dad's house to my house. All in one ride. And I should be live that day. I'm going to be trying to, as long as the weather's cooperating. That's going to be the key thing. So anybody want to watch during the live, swing by, check up, see how the bike's handling, how it's working, blah, blah, blah. Feel free to come and join. That'll be done on that. Let's see. Check the exact date so I can give you all the exact date. That should be done on the 22nd, the Sunday, the 22nd of September, when I'll be actually doing a full day live from the bike, as long as weather's cooperating, from South Dakota to Tennessee. Like I normally do when I come back from Sturgis. But I'm glad that the bike's being dealt with, taken care of, and they've actually was able to get the parts in. But yeah, it's just some of these dealers and the workers and the managers don't quite understand that there are people that ride the bikes that do have some knowledge of what needs to be replaced or what's going on with their bike to an extent. Not everybody's, I guess, mechanically illiterate, I guess you would say, in a way, or don't understand how the internals of the motor work or this or that. They just hand it to the dealership and say, okay, I need it fixed. Something's wrong with it. I don't know what. With me, that's not the case. So dealerships need to handle the communication with some, I feel, with some of the people. And so far, this dealership, up to this point, has made me go back and forth about feeling comfortable with them having the bike. And now it's a little bit better because now I know that they've actually taken everything apart and actually ordered all the parts that are needing to be replaced that they can see and know of right now. And hopefully they're taking in consideration. Oh yeah, I've got the extended warranty so far back, Salty, and it's actually paid for itself. This will probably be 3 times over by the time this warranty claim's done with. So, yeah, I know it sucks. It does in ways because I've looked at recruits' coaches. I've looked at wanting to do some sort of upgrades to the motor. But at the same time, though, I'm still paying on the bike. And one thing my grandfather taught me back in the day was if you've got an option for a warranty and you're making payments on a vehicle, whether you want to do something to that vehicle or not, always hold off and wait until the vehicle's paid off or until the warranty's completely done away with. Once one of those two are done away with, then do what you want because once warranty's no longer covering anything, there's no sense in worrying about what upgrading what you want to upgrade. For me, this being my first Harley Davidson, my first motorcycle. Hey, how's it going, Zan? I decided to leave the bike practically stock. Everything that's been done to the bike before I bought it is still there. The Cobra 909 slip-ons, the neighbor haters, they were on the bike when I got it. And the only 2 things that I've changed that's not factory from the bike that's on it is the Screaming Eagle intake because it's actually aluminum. It's not that plastic junk that was starting to warp. And the K&N air filter that I decided to get instead of using a paper filter creating more garbage. So those are the 2 things that I've done to the motor that wasn't factory. That's not considered typical maintenance. It's had a set of spark plugs and wires put on it. And I think we'd done that at 60,000 because it was recommended. I didn't really realize that it was supposed to be done at 50, so at 60 we went ahead and done it. But other than that, everything else has been done by the maintenance book, and it's pretty much stock. And the reason why is for reasons of the warranty work to be covered without too much hassle at all. I've had to give everybody an example of what the extended warranty has covered on my bike so far since I've owned it has been 3 sets of front bearings, neck bearing, 3 water pumps, radiator, rear rotors, because of the brake issue recall that was actually causing an issue with the rear brakes. So even the rear brakes and even the rear brake pads, 1 set of them was even covered under warranty. What else has there been? Water pumps, the radiator, the front bearing, 3 front bearings, the neck bearing. There was something else that was covered too. Can't remember what it was, but it was like almost $1,200 for them to do that work. by itself, and it wasn't a radiator. Radiator run you if you have Harley Davidson do a radiator for, or not the radiator, but the water pump for you. That is, as Lone Cowboy will tell you, the water pump itself is almost $700, and then they charge you almost another. I think it's like right around $1,400 to have them replace it, and it's like almost another $700 for the shop fees. And watching Lone Cowboy's video when he actually decided to change out his water pump himself, kind of sort of made me wonder: is it actually worth $700 worth of work? Didn't seem like it was that hard to do. Actually, it wasn't hard at all. And so, I mean, yes, I can work on things. I do all my own oil changes, engine work, and everything else on my truck and my daughter's car, as well as my car. So, I mean, I can do stuff mechanically. So, but when it came to the tires for life with the bike and the extended warranty and all the stories that we hear about how Harley Davidson with the warranty as well as the extended warranty don't like covering things. They'll try to find any excuse they can to get out from having to cover it. Just like CBM 10 right now is dealing with his sports duress, which I hate it for him, but I mean, that's a scary thought because he put a slip on his sports duress, and now he's looking at having to still pay $3,000 for the motor issue that he's got going on. And it's like, that's just insane. So, I mean, for me, if you get the extended warranty and you're still making bike payments, I would say best suggestion so you're not out a ton of money down the road, unless you're your own mechanic and stuff. Like we know there's a few of y'all out there that are that I follow, Drew, TJ, and them that can actually Apple Glide and all them that can actually Apple Glide? No, it's yeah, I think it is. But all them you even use, for example, Salty work on bikes regular. So yeah, having extended warranty and worrying about warranty work probably not that big of a concern for you guys. At the same time, though, I'm sure paying $2,000 or even $1,800 for a warranty to cover the length of what you were going to be paying on the bike, only having to pay $50 at a time instead of the 600, 700, and I think the radiator's $900 by itself. Come to think of it, because it was almost a $2,000 job when they had to replace the radiator, and that's so the bike's actually on its second radiator already too. So keep that in mind for everybody that's got the water cooled M8s and stuff. Harley knows the water pumps that are on the M8s are a very common failure part. As I can contest, I've had 3 of them. I'm actually on my 4th one right now, and I'm at 80,000 miles or 78,000 basically. Oh yeah, I guarantee you they're probably hating life right now with the with their warranties being timed and not mileage. Because as I said, my bike's a 19. It's still got the extended warranty. It's still within their time frame because it's a timed warranty, not a mileage warranty. And I've got 78,000 miles on the bike right now. So you can imagine if they were able, they're probably rethinking this whole time thing, going with a mileage or time, because more and more people are riding bikes now. It seems like, I mean, there's not a whole lot of people, but there seems to be a growing crowd of people that that's the comment I'm talking about right now. So is Salties, where warranty company realized there are people that actually like some miles. Yes, for sure. Because I mean, as I said, I got 78,000 miles. I'm sure just GQ's got probably 50 or so thousand on his new bike that he's got. You got Two Up Junkies that's probably got close to 50,000, possible more than likely on their brand new lowrider they just got. And exactly, Zan, that's exactly what they plan on. Is we're gonna milk this guy for $2,000 for an extended warranty. He might ride maybe another 1,000, 2,000 miles on a bike. And there's a lot of us that no, that's not the case. There's actually some of us that actually ride quite often, especially those of us that the bikes are actually, I guess you would say, part of our therapy, literally. I know for me it is. I'm not sure about other people, but I know for me it actually is part of my therapy. That's one reason why every day I'm not working, I'm usually on the bike. And usually I ride between 2 to 500 miles each day that I'm on it if I'm off work. Now, when I'm riding to work, it's just going to work and back. Not much I can do about that. It's not like I can go. I work 12 and a half hour shifts, so it's not like I'm going to be able to get out on the road and ride for 5+ hours and then go to work. I've been known to do some crazy stuff, but yeah. But for people to get the most out of your extended warranty, though, I would suggest as much as it's great to do and you want to do, try to keep the bike as stock as possible, or at least make sure you talk to the dealership, the service department at your dealership, to make sure what you're looking at won't cause a warranty issue. Because that was the reason why I did not do the cam upgrade to get the upgraded cam and lifters that they actually had at the dealership when that the day that I took it in, and they told me that was what they needed to replace was just the cam and the lifters. They didn't have the cam. The cam was on back order until another 5 days from now, and they had the lifters. But the cam that they told me that they did have that would work and not void the warranty and would be somewhat covered, but the cost of it wouldn't be covered under warranty from what they told me was the Screaming Eagle cam. And they had one of those in the store if I wanted to do that so I can get back on the road. I told them I had to think about it and let me think about it and look around, see what's going on, see what I can figure out. I'm like, okay, no problem. So I told them I'd call them back the next morning. Well, what I done was what they had done inadvertently at that point was trigger the negative thought process in my mind of, okay, they know the camshaft's on back order, and supposedly it's just the cam and lifters. I heard metal hitting metal. So that right there was already a red flag for me. That there's no way it's just those two parts. There's no way. It can only be those two parts. And then the sudden, well, that's on back order, but we've got this. We throw it in and have you back on the road in a few hours or by tomorrow afternoon. I'm like, I've heard these stories before where they're in a rush to sell you something and not really fix the problem at all. And then you end up going down the road and you're out of the money that you just got done spending on the brand new parts, and voila, you're stuck again because the work wasn't done correctly. So I held off, called my dealership down here at Mountain Creek, talked to the guys down here that I know firsthand, personally, and trust, and I asked them about it. I go, is what they're telling me legit? So they actually pulled up their system. Exactly, the bait and switch, then exactly. So the service guy down here pulled up the parts for me while I was on the phone with him. He looked and he goes, yes. He goes, the camshafts are on back order, so they're telling you the truth there. I go, okay, so what about the Screaming Eagle cam? I go, if they've got one, will that void the warranty? He goes, let me find out. So he got off the phone with me, called the warranty company, and verified to make sure before he told me yes or no. And then called me back and told me, he goes, as long as it's a actual Screaming Eagle cam from Harley, then yes, it will still be covered under warranty because it's considered street legal. So I was like, okay, so that eased my mind about going ahead and getting the cam. I called back on that following morning. It became the lifters, the cam, and oh, by the way, if you do the cam, you're going to have to pay another $900 because you got to do a tuner and get it tuned. So I was like, well, okay. And then not even 5 minutes later, he called the dealership that has the bike now, calls me back and says, oh, my tech just found out that the metal made its way to the oil pan or the oil pan and into the pump. So we're going to have to replace the pump. And I was like, okay, so at this point, don't even worry about the upgraded cam. I'll just go ahead and leave it with you guys. That's the reason why I didn't get a U-Haul, put it on the trailer, or try to find a way to get it on a U-Haul to haul it back down here and let the boys down here deal with it. It's because they already had the bike apart. They then already started the warranty work. So at that point, okay, fine, they've got it. I'm going to let them deal with it. And I'll just come back up. No big deal. Because whether they had it done this month, I figured they would for surely have it done before my brother's wedding. It's in October. So I'm actually going to be back up that way anyways in October. So wasn't too big of a deal, too big of an ordeal about having to go back up to get it. Not for me. That's my train of thought about it. And I know some people is like, you should just put it on a U-Haul and brought it down. Had they not started to work, yeah, I probably would have. No problem. No doubts about it. But being that I already had them looking into it and they done had the engine tore down and started looking into it, I just left it with them at that point. So I wasn't going to try to create an issue with the warranty or anything else. Just let them deal with it because they done got the claim started and everything else. So, but everything still falls back to communications. Had the service manager told me that they were going to go ahead and finish continuing tearing the bike completely apart and told me that they're going to end up going to have to replace the flywheel, the oil pump, the cam plate, everything basically. And that they looked at the pistons and the cylinder walls and didn't see no issues, which kind of sort of doesn't make any sense, but okay. Might be something I'm not aware of how the internals work with a motorcycle engine compared to a car engine, but okay. Still kind of debating on whether or not there's probably any actual scarring or not. But maybe the oil's that good that it didn't really hurt the cylinder walls or the pistons. That's my hope. But that is why I've kept the bike mostly stock. Now, we'll say the bike gets paid off next year. So, yeah, she ain't going to be staying stock for long. Just saying, there will be some updates being done as soon as the bike's paid off. Quite sure of that. I know one thing will be is the hitch and getting a little pull along trailer for the bike. Because little did most people know that owns a trike, you put a hitch on a bike, whether it's for a wheelchair, a flag mount, or an actual trailer, the hitch, installing a hitch by itself, according to the warranty and according to Harley, will void the warranty on the transmission instantly if they can tell that you've had a hitch on the bike, which to me, they're trading a real thin line right there. Most people on trikes are typically, there's a reason for them. And there was actually one guy that I watched. He actually had to fight with the warranty company as well as Harley, and actually showed where he actually had the reason for the hitch was for the platform for his wheelchair to sit on. He actually had to he actually took pictures and showed them that is what that hitch is for. And only then was he able to convince them to actually cover the work under warranty. Sucks, but at least they're willing to do that because he actually threatened to sue them via the ADA, which I could see that actually being a thing. But just wanted to hop on here real quick and let everybody know what's going on. So I'm practically getting, yeah. I mean, as much as they're getting picky with things anymore, Zan, yeah, that I'm sure that's probably in the works somewhere. I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm hoping Evil's actually got his bike back. I'm hoping. Hopefully they got his bike. He's got his bike back. But hope everybody's been out riding, having a great time, great weekend so far, and everyone stay safe because I gotta hop off of here. Finish getting ready for work, and of course I'm still in the daughter's car today. But I'd rather be out on the bike. But anyways, everyone take care, stay safe, keep riding, and look for more updates and announcements as soon as I get the bike. So I'm holding off on announcing a few things because I want to make sure I have the bike first. And I've got to make sure something happens at work as well because if I can't pass my training on Thursday, it's going to actually play a different role on things coming up as well. So that said, stay tuned. There'll be more announcements coming up because as most of y'all know, there's a rally nearby coming up in a couple of weeks. And I'm hoping I'm going to be able to be there with the bike. So y'all stay tuned and have a great day. And I'll catch y'all later. Stay safe. Bye.